But what Paul said to the church in Ephesus is to be able to do things far more abundantly because of the power that's involved in you, that's in you, that's working within you. And that's through the power of the Holy Spirit at that point in time. So here's what we've seen today as we close. We realize God's desire to empower us, which means to be content. It means to let God be God and fall in line with God's plan for your life. In essence, it just means to trust Him. And then we moved into our acknowledgement of our need to be empowered by God, to feel His enablement. And that means to push pride aside and depend fully on God's grace. For His grace is sufficient for us. In short, trust Him. Once again. And then when we looked at how we should react to God's empowerment, we need to pray to know God's will in order to react to His divine power. And see how we can fit into where He's leading us to go. In short, we need to trust Him. See a common thread here going? It's all about trust. And here's the bottom line. It says, in order to be empowered by God, we must trust Him. He desires to enable us to fall in line with His plans for our lives, to prosper along the way. To be enabled means to be empowered. To be empowered means to be in God's hands, to be abiding in God and to trust in Him. The final point here before Mark can come up here and Mo can get ready to play the final point here is that we are never meant to go through this life alone, living in our own strength. That's one thing I want to tell everybody. We are not meant to go through this life alone, living in our own ways and means, in our own strength. Our loving Father who formed the mountains and filled the seas and breathed life into dust, He longs to strengthen us and empower us for whatever lies ahead. So here's the challenge as we go. And I'm going to have you guys go into the, surrender all. Yeah, I'm going to